So we have our overlay, we have everything set up for what we want to do. So now we want to go into OBS. So you can download OBS online. It's really easy to set up, and we're going to actually start capturing the stream. So there's a lot of tools to get you set up with this. You can have like speedtest.net and Twitch test. A lot of this has changed though, because one of the cool things now with OBS is this is Obs Studio. So this might look, if you know Gabby's intro to this, a lot different than what you're used to. So Gabby's went over the old OBS. OBS has actually come out with a new version in the meantime. And one of the cool things is that it does actually have an auto configuration wizard. So you can set up an auto configuration here. And I can't do it while it's actually recording, which is unfortunate. But if you go through here, it'll ask you for various settings. Now, one of the things that it'll ask you for, with Moto specifically, is it's going to say how many frames per second you want to have it captured in. And it will often default to up to 60 and down to 30. So it'll say like an option like that. I would suggest just setting it at 30 FPS if you're specifically looking at streaming Moto. The reason being that Moto doesn't care about fast motion. Frames per second is going to be a big thing for like shooters and things like that where you have to follow a lot of quick action. Magic Online cares about sharpness. So you really care about how sharp it looks like because you need people to read the cards. So you're going to want to look for high resolution, and you don't really need to have a high FPS for that. If you've got like some incredible, crazy, awesome Uber rig, and you don't need to worry about any kind of stream quality problems by streaming in 60 frames per second, 1080, then who cares, whatever, do it. Put it at 60 if you feel like it. But if you're looking at sacrificing some things somewhere to get better performance, sacrifice your FPS, it's fine at 30, not a problem. Make sure that you have 1080p instead. You really want the full HD if you're going to have people watching Magic Online. Something else that you'll have when you actually do this auto configuration wizard, when you go through, it'll ask you the area that you have for your Twitch server. So it'll say like Europe, US, Asia, other. If you want to pick US, then it'll fire it out and it'll test on which servers you have the maximum upload. Now, when it's done all of that, a lot of the time, for example, on mine, what it tells me is that I can upload at 6,000 kilobytes per second or more is what it'll tell me. Now, you do not want it to set that. So it'll set that for you, but you need to change it right away. So you want to go into your settings and it'll have it all in here. So at the end, you can also change all of those things that it's done. It'll have your bitrate here. I'm uploading at 3250 or 3500 a lot of the time. You don't want to go much above that. It looks very sharp at 3500 kilobytes per second. The problem being if you go to say 6000 is that a lot of people will not be able to watch that in what they call source quality on Twitch, which is the same quality that you're uploading it as. And then if they have to watch it at, say, high or low or medium quality, which Twitch gives the options for, the way that they give you those options is through encoding. So they have an algorithm that like downscales a little bit so that they can see the same screen, but in less kilobytes per second. The reason why that's bad is that it can make that screen blurry. Any of the times that you're going to be scaling images up or down through any kind of like computer algorithms like that, you always have a little bit of loss, and that means that it's going to be a little bit fuzzier than you want. With Magic Online, we just talked about that, it's really important. If you find people are coming in and going, why do all the cards look so fuzzy? Why can't I read that? What card is that? Might want to look at different things like bitrate or upping your resolution so that people can see it a little bit better, because your viewers might not have the amazing internet that you do. I would say too, if you aren't able to upload at say 3500, if it's going to tell you say like, if it says 1000 bitrate is what you can upload at, that's probably too little. So you're going to need to up your internet. If you want to be able to upload in decent quality to a stream, I would suggest a minimum of about 2000 to 2500 kilobytes per second, and that'll reach a nice wide audience for you. It won't be bad quality, it'll look pretty nice, but it won't be the highest it might almost be better a little bit to have it lower because more people will be able to watch it in source quality and not have to go through that whole problem of the encoding or having stream stuttering if they are trying to watch it on source, because they try and watch it on source and their computer is too slow, their internet's too slow, then they'll keep constantly complaining like, why am I missing things? It's constantly dropping. And so it's got all those kinds of problems in there. So we've got the 3500 bitrate. We're all set up. We've got our Twitch servers set. It will have asked you to put in your stream key when you do this actual setup that I was showing you. So there's a stream key here. Now to get that, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to Twitch. Now I'm going to show you my stream key, which is a bad thing. You normally don't want to do this, but it's not a big deal because what we're going to have is a reset as well. So if you do happen to show it on stream at some time, don't freak out. It's not that big of a deal. You can always reset it, so it's not too bad. You go to the settings, you go stream key, you go show key. It'll ask you, don't share it. Oh my God, please, please, please don't show. You really don't want to because it does mean that other people could upload to your channel, but I'm gonna change it before anybody gets to use it. So we'll just go, I understand, shows the stream key. I will reset it after this. And now we just pop that bad boy in there and apply. We have all of our settings set up. We're good to go. All right. Well, we have our settings, but we don't have our screen set up. So what we need to do is we need to add a scene. And a scene is going to be, say, like if we want to be doing Magic or Eternal. So you can see I have here a bunch of different scenes. I have an intro. Does a nice little thing. And then I can switch to Magic. Hey, everybody. That's me. And I have a recording one for YouTube, which just doesn't have all of the rest of it. And then, of course, I have this tutorial for you. So we want to add a scene, and we're going to do a test scene. So this will be for you guys. Now we want to add our sources. So we've got to do, with Magic Online, you have to do display capture. It doesn't do game capture or window capture because it pops open a lot of different windows. It's just something that Magic Online specifically does. So just something that we have to be aware of. We're going to choose display 2, which is the monitor that I want to use. And there we go. We've got the same monitor again. And by the way, this is why you want to have double monitors, because as you can see, if I have my OBS on there, we see the infinite all the time. There's always like infinite little monitors, which is really annoying. And you don't want to be showing this to your stream. So if you have a second monitor, you can just put it to the side. And you have a perfect, nice, clean slate. If you have one monitor, it's going to be a lot of trying to hide it behind Magic Online and things like that, because you have to display capture, which means that this is constantly going to be in your way. Just a little bit of a pain and a heads up. So we'll open up Magic Online, fire it up, and we'll put it on that display. Okay, so we have Magic Online. Now we need our overlay. It's also, Magic Online's not exactly where we want it. We'll have to move it around a little bit and decide how we want to place that. We're going to need to change how much of the desktop it's capturing as well, because even though we have an overlay going over our desktop, we don't need to capture all of it. We can just leave that as blank space. So I'm going to put the overlay up first. We're going to go back and add another scene. So we go add, and this is a little tough to see, I know. But we want to go to this add, and then we have an image that we want to add. And that image, we're going to create new. And we have our overlay sample. Boom. All right, so we have our overlay sample, and it looks like that. Oh, Magic Online's not quite big enough, so let's just resize Magic Online. Now, this is important. I'm not resizing it in OBS. I'm resizing it on the desktop to match our overlay. That's really, really important. If we do that inside of OBS, which you can do, because you can change the aspect ratio of things inside of OBS. I will show you that in just 2 seconds here. So you can actually set like, you can, if you go and you click on, say, this display, a little red area pops up around it, and you can resize it. The problem is that as you resize, things will get blurry. One thing that you can do as well is I said that I wanted to cut out any of that area that I didn't like. So what I do is you hold down Alt and then pull it in, and that'll actually crop the area. So you can pick out the part of the desktop that you want. We only want Magic Online. We don't really need a whole lot else. So just pop it like that. Perfect. So we have our overlay on top of Magic Online. Now we might want to add in our camera, because I do have a camera. So what we want with that is we want to do a video capture device. And we can add in the existing one, which we have a camera already, or you can just create new. And I'll just say this is camera 2. This might cause problems for me just because it wants to use the same camera. And it'll pick all the same properties and things like that. It'll show you that page. I don't really want to do that because on mine, it does cause problems to have multiple cameras with this multiple of the same video display device. So I'm going to pick the existing one. Boop. And it'll pop that in. I don't need a little bit of that space that I have going on to that side of me, so I can say like crop it in a little closer if I want, just like I showed before. Hold on Alt, and I might crop down the top here as well, Alt and move it down, so it doesn't actually resize the window, but it does actually crop that out. And then I can pull it down, so I'm in this bottom corner here. Hey everybody. All right, so now, look at that. We have a nice little overlay. We have Magic Online set up, and we're kind of good to go. What you want to be able to do after that is probably add in some text. So if you want to say add in your name to the top, so you can go text, and we're going to add a new one. So we're going to say name. We can select our fonts here. I have a font that I use that I like called Archip. You can install any fonts into Windows that you can, and it'll all work through OBS, so that's pretty easy. And what we're going to do is use my name, so we'll say Ilyon. And I'm going to put that up at the top. Ooh, I grabbed the wrong thing. I'm trying to grab this. See, this is the problem of looking at the infinite stuff. I'm trying to grab this OBS screen, but I was grabbing the one that's inside of the OBS screen. So I'm going to grab that. We have our text in the top corner here, and I can kind of move it around. I'm going to center it on that area here. And we can make it a little bit bigger. So it's not big enough. I'm going to go into the properties actually for that name and just up the font size here. I like to do it this way rather than resizing it because you can get some blur and some problems that way. All right, cool. So 72. Looks nice. So I've got a nice little kind of center that a bit. And ooh, that's starting to look pretty good. Check that out. Now we have a wonderful overlay with our name and stuff on it. We can put our record in there. If you want, you can window capture your Twitch chat. So all you have to do is just do the same thing that we've been doing with everything else. You go add, and then you go window capture. So it'll be down at the bottom here. And you have you'll want to have your actual Twitch chat open, and then you just crop the window down to the size of your Twitch chat. So you can create new, and it'll ask you for like, okay, well you have like a search pane, you have a start menu open, you have your desktop open, you have a Chrome page called 200 Situps. So you'd have like your Chrome page in there, and you would do that. Just crop it down to the right size for your Twitch chat. You can put it in the corner. You can also use different programs like there's Twitch alerts and Muxy.io that will show your chat inside, so you can actually get like cool little pop-up kind of windows, and it does a little stylized version of a chat for you, and you can do that as well. Why don't we actually check out just a little bit of Twitch alerts right at the end of this. Twitch alerts is what I use, so I'm going to jump in that. It's called Streamlabs now. I always forget to do that. It'll ask you to connect your Twitch account. We don't need to worry too much about doing any of that. I'm just going to show it to you very quickly this way. We're going to want to remove our overlays and things. So on this OBS, if you're trying to change, you're like, oh, well, Chat can't actually see all this. This looks really awful for you guys. You can't see my whole screen. So I'm going to want to change scenes. And this is where you might want to have that scene set up where they can see your whole screen, or anything else that you want to do. If you're playing other games, you can set up nice overlays for them that might be a little bit different than what you have for Magic Online. So I'm going to go to tutorial. And oh, now you guys can see that whole screen. Much better. And what's cool is there's also these transitions. So you can do like cut or a fade. So you can see that I did a fade where it does a nice like slow fade between the two of them, and you can choose the duration of that over here. Or you can just do a hard cut. So if I wanted to do a hard cut, it just does it instantly. One other thing to note is you do have your volume here for both your mic and your desktop audio. So if I want to be playing music, then I'm going to want to have headphones on. And you're going to want to have this on so people can hear desktop audio, and that'll actually have music coming through. If you don't want them to hear music that you're playing, or if you have other audio in the background that you don't want chat to hear, but you want to listen to, you can just mute it. You do want to have your mic on, so make sure that that's going. And one other thing is, of course, when you have your camera on, you want to make sure that you don't have it outputting any audio. So it'll show it in this mixer here, and it'll show the camera. So when you do have the properties on here and you're configuring your camera inside of here, you can actually have it set up that it's what audio device it's using. So you can have it as using the audio device as the one Blue Yeti Pro, which is my actual desktop mic, instead of using the webcam that I have. Really important. Or you can just mute it, which is what I did. But just make sure that one way or the other, you're only capturing audio from your nice desktop mic rather than from your webcam mic. When you start streaming, it's a really good idea, I would say, to pick up a desktop mic. You can get a Blue Snowball for about $50 on Amazon. Don't really advocate for headset mics. They're not terrible, but honestly, you can get like a cheaper desktop mic than a headset mic, and it'll be higher quality. A headset mic that's half decent is going to run you like $80. And like I said, the Blue Yeti is going to be $50. And I'm sure that you guys have a spare set of headphones around somewhere. I mean, headphones are $10. You can get cheapy little ones if you really want to listen to some music or something. So that's actually a cheaper setup, and it sounds much, much nicer. And you can get much better equipment later on if you want as well. You can get like Blue Yeti Pros. The Blue Yeti is a really nice microphone, or there's also the AT2020. So the Audio-Technica 2020 is a really popular one. Now we want to go into this Twitch alerts, and this is where you have, every streamer kind of has all the different alerts that they see, where people will have like, oh, thank you for following, stuff like that. We're not going to go too crazy with it. It's your first time. You don't want to have like a bunch of bells and whistles and have it really disruptive. And you're also going to find as you stream that there's going to be funny jokes and things that kind of suit your personality or that people catch up on and develop into kind of a style for your stream. And so you can use those later. And for now, we're just going to do really basic setups. So what you want to do in here is you're going to want to go to this alert box once you've logged into Streamlabs or Twitch alerts. And it'll connect your account and everything like that. And it'll give you this alert box. So it'll have all these general settings. You can have a delay on your alerts. You can do alert moderation delay. You don't need to worry too much about that for now. But what you want to do is you want to go to, say, follows. And you can add in a GIF. So it'll say you can have these different layouts. You can choose to have the image above the text. You can just choose to have the text over the image. You can have the image beside the text. So you can kind of do any one of those, and you can enable or disable those. And then it'll ask you for an animation. You can fade it in, fade it down, do all those kinds of things there. So just going to do, like I said, very, very basic. I'm going to pick an image. You can change the media. We will pick a stock file. So we'll say, I'll just grab, what one looks cool? Ooh, this corgi is pretty cute. So I'll pick a corgi, and then we can choose some media for it to do here. I'll let you guys listen to this sound. So we've got all the sounds. Okay, that one's all right. Ooh, I like that. It's just a nice, short, simple, sweet. So we got a nice little... And that'll play every time that we have a follower. You can do fonts here. So we've got Anton. You can test that out, font size and font weight. You'll want to test that a few times just to make sure that it's the right size and everything for you. For now, we'll do it. I want to have my image above my text, and we'll save these settings. And we can add that into our OBS by going like this. So we go back to our test scene, and we add in, it's called a browser source. And with this browser source, you want to create a new one. So we'll do test alerts. And with these alerts, you actually have over here a widget URL. So right now it's just showing this OBS Studio because it's using that as the URL. But you actually have on the Twitch Alerts webpage, you can see there's this click to show widget URL. So you want to click that, copy it over, and you want to copy that into this URL here. So we're going to do that, and we'll copy it in here. And now it'll have that go away. We want to center our alerts onto Moto so it looks nice. And then we can test the follow alert. And it should send us an alert. Oh, we have it disabled. That would be why. So we need to enable it and save it. And then we'll test the follow. And there you go. So you have a nice little follow alert there. You can do the same thing for bits, hosting, donations, subscribers. And you have your whole basic setup. So now we have alerts, we have an overlay, we have Moto set up, and you're ready to stream. All you have to do is hit that start streaming button and you're good to go. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial today, and I hope that it's useful for all of you. I will see you around. You can check out more content on newmockgaming.com, which is where I put up all of my stuff, and get to streaming. I hope to see you guys streaming. The more streamers that we have, the better. It makes the community a lot nicer when we have other people streaming and new and diverse voices. So I'll be glad to see you out there. You guys have a wonderful day.